Sarah had always been a dreamer. She had a long list of ambitions: travel the world, write a novel, run a marathon, but somehow, she could never make any of them happen. Her days blurred into a routine of going to work, binge-watching TV, and procrastinating. She felt a constant sense of dissatisfaction, yet never did much to change it. Until one day, she stumbled upon a concept that would ultimately change her life: the power of a single habit. Scrolling through a self-help forum, she read an article titled, "How 10 Minutes of Daily Reading Changed My Life." It was about a person who'd started reading for just 10 minutes a day, which led to a series of positive changes in their life. At first, Sarah was skeptical. She thought, how could reading a few pages each day make any difference? Still, something about the simplicity of it intrigued her. She loved reading but hadn't picked up a book in years. She decided to give it a try, with no grand expectations. "It's just 10 minutes," she told herself. "What harm could it do?" That night, she set a timer and started reading a book she'd had on her shelf forever. For the first few minutes, she felt restless, her mind wandering to the latest series she'd been watching. But gradually, the words began to draw her in. Before she knew it, the timer went off. Surprisingly, she felt a small sense of accomplishment. She'd actually finished something. Over the next week, Sarah kept up with her 10 minutes of reading. It became a quiet ritual she looked forward to at the end of each day. The more she read, the more her interest in learning grew. She found herself reaching for books on self-development, productivity, and creativity. And as she absorbed the wisdom from these pages, Sarah noticed something shift in her. Her reading habit began to spill over into other areas of her life. For one, she became more mindful of her time. She started setting aside a little extra time each day for things she cared about, like journaling and exercising. The new books inspired her to set small, achievable goals, and she took up the challenge of writing a page of her novel each day. As the months passed, Sarah's life began to transform. She was no longer the passive observer of her own life, but had become an active participant. The simple habit of reading for 10 minutes a day had set off a chain reaction of positive changes. Her confidence grew with each new achievement, and she began to feel a sense of purpose that she had once only dreamed of. One evening, after a particularly fulfilling day, Sarah looked around her cozy apartment and felt overwhelmed with gratitude. She couldn't believe how much had changed in just a few months, all from a habit that took her no more than 10 minutes a day. Reading had not only enriched her mind, but also sparked a curiosity that fueled her personal growth. It had led her to take small steps toward her dreams, one page at a time. Looking back, Sarah realized that it wasn't the act of reading alone that had changed her life. It was the consistency, the discipline to commit to something small and stick with it. She had discovered the secret power of one habit. In that single choice, she had unlocked her potential, and so, as she continued to read each night, Sarah also continued to grow, knowing that sometimes, the smallest changes make the biggest difference.